Hello and welcome to The Right Mama. Today we are going to kind of go through some of my NaNoWriMo 2019 journey and see how we got to the end of the month. Let's take a look. Happy NaNoWriMo! It's day one. I just jumped out of the shower because I'm very tired and I needed to wake up. My girls are down napping, so I'm going to try to attack the first page of the novel I want to start writing this month. My goal is to just write some of this book. I don't have a set goal, really. I'm not going to finish this novel in a month. That's not realistic in my world. So my goal is to just kind of hopefully get a few chapters done. I know that's a lot smaller of a goal than a lot of people have, but for me, that'll work. So I'm all set, I'm all cozy. I have my coffee, I have my laptop with my outline. Let's see what happens. Day 4 of NaNoWriMo. The girls are napping and I napped too. I'll admit I'm a napper. Usually I lay down for like 20 minutes. I get up and I get stuff done because during their nap time I usually get my blogging done. I do some social media management. I do it then, and then hopefully I get writing done. But today I napped for a little bit longer. And they weren't napping. They were like laughing and running around their room the whole time. So I was managing that chaos. But I'm ready now to try to get some writing done. Let's see if I can. It's day 6 of NaNoWriMo, and it's like 5:45 in the morning right now. And I just taught a couple classes upstairs and decided to stay awake to do a writing sprint with By the Brook at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I'm sucking it up. I'm awake. I'm gonna try to last an hour, then maybe lay down before the girls wake up. Here we go. Day 7 of NaNoWriMo. It's almost been a week and I've been doing pretty well. My goal is not 50,000 words. For those who are trying to get 50,000 words, good for you. But I know realistically I can't do that. If I want to write something well and write something clean, I can't do 50,000 words in 1 month. I edit as I go. It's just always what I've done. So my goal is a lot smaller. Also, the next few days I'm going to be traveling to visit my parents, so things are going to be a little hectic, and I don't know if I'm going to get to write every day. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to write a few paragraphs right now and then finish packing and head to the lake. Day 12 of NaNoWriMo, and finally I'm finding some time to focus on my writing since I've been visiting my family. There's been a lot going on and I've been distracted, but the girls are napping and I went upstairs to my mom's room because 1, the Wi-Fi is super in and out, so I won't get distracted, and 2, it's a pretty view of the lake. Look at the lake if you can see it. Aw, we did get some snow overnight. Woohoo! So I'm gonna try to get some writing done before the girls wake up. Let's see what happens. Don't worry, I got my coffee. Day 15 of NaNoWriMo, and I'll be honest, I haven't written in 2 days. Most of this is because 1, I was traveling home from the lake visiting my family, and 2, I also kind of got a cold over the last couple days, and I've been doing a lot of cleaning, organizing. Today's my girl's birthday, so we're doing a lot this weekend. So I really haven't written as much as I should. I also made a really cute little writing corner nook so I can hopefully get more done because I have a little space like this now. So let's see what happens. I still have a lot of work to do. I'm super backed up with some of my freelancing, but hopefully today I'll get a couple words in. Let's see. Day 18 of NaNoWriMo, and if you can't tell, my voice is sounding wonderful today. I'm still not feeling great, and I actually have to record Friday's video today, so hopefully later today my voice will be a little better. It's 5:30 in the morning right now. I have a break between classes for my VIP Kid ESL classes, and as you can tell, my background is now poster board since I updated my work area, and my writing area becomes this lovely hectic little corner of chaos, but it's worth it. I actually am posting a pop-up video on my channel today talking about some exciting news, so I'm excited to share some things with you guys. I'm writing in between classes, hoping to get some words in, not stressing about it, but we'll see what happens. Day 19 of NaNoWriMo, and as you can tell, I still sound like death, but I'm actually on the up. I feel okay. It's not as bad as usually this death illness I get is, so it could be worse. I got out of the house. I'm at my favorite bubble tea place. I usually go to coffee shops, but it's nighttime and those are further in the city, so I stick out here. My mom is in town, thank goodness. If you have a good relationship with your parents and your mom, take advantage of it, especially if they let you, take naps and take a break and get out of the house. Take advantage of it. I'm so lucky to have my mom and have her come and visit and just give me those breaks because I love getting out and writing. It's when I do the best writing. So let's see what I can do. I hope I don't get distracted. Here we go. Tip number 1. When it comes to writing, turn off your Wi-Fi, turn it off, put your phone away, turn the phone off because you get distracted. I get so distracted. I did get some writing done. I checked some emails. I wrote a little bit for this article. I edited a little bit, but I was all over the place. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. But turn off your Wi-Fi. If you want to get one thing done and not do like 5 things at once, turn it off. Day 23 of NaNoWriMo, and I was going to go escape the house and find a coffee shop, but I realized that I am very low financially right now, and I gotta stop buying coffee a few times a week when I can make some coffee that is perfectly fine here. So I'm gonna stay here. I'm in my little corner, gonna try to do a few things. This is probably one of the last NaNoWriMo videos I'm going to record. Monday is my first live stream writing sprint video on The Right Mama on YouTube. So I'm probably gonna record one before I do that or after, and then that's that. So I'm going to try to get a few words in and not get distracted. I'm very behind on my goal, but this month has been very exciting with a lot of the exciting news going on. So I'm okay with it. I'm just going to write to have fun like I always have. Day 25 of NaNoWriMo, and I'm about to go live for my first live stream write-in. It's a thing that happens on AuthorTube that a lot of people like to get in on, especially during NaNoWriMo. So I thought, hey, why not jump in on the trend? So I'm doing my first. I'm kind of in the studio right now. Gonna see if anyone shows up. If not, that's okay. It's been a day. Very crazy, hard day. The girls drove me insane. I've been crying. I got my wine and I'm ready to see if I can write a little bit. I might do some editing. I might just work on an article. I'm not sure. I just need to get out of my crazy brain and focus on something else. So hopefully this first live stream goes well, and we'll find out. Officially the end of the month, and NaNoWriMo 2019 is pretty much done when this video comes out. We may have one more day to go. As you notice through those videos, NaNoWriMo to me is a little bit different than maybe it is to everybody else. I have never focused on word count, and this year was a lot different when it came to NaNoWriMo because I was more involved with social media. I was more involved with AuthorTubes and other authors and indie authors and local writers and things like that. So I really, got to focus a little bit more on the numbers aspect and put myself in the middle of the chaos that is NaNoWriMo. In years past, I have focused more on the craft. I focused on myself and my personal goals and pushing myself a little bit more and not focusing on the numbers. Plus, I'm not a math person and numbers give me really bad anxiety. So I've always been somebody to focus on my writing. This year was different because everybody else was focusing on that 50K or 100K or trying to write a whole book. And I was the one, that NaNoRebel, who didn't really want to focus on the numbers. And that's okay. I realized through this there were some pros and cons to my being right smack in the middle of the chaos that is NaNoWriMo when it comes to social media and community and things like that. So I'm going to share a few of those things I learned. One positive that I learned is that I know my writing style. I know what works for me. I know that I write well when I have a nice cozy area. I made myself a little cozy corner. So I know what works for me when it comes to where I like to write. I like coffee shops. I like getting out to a nice positive atmosphere outside of the home as well. So during the month, I had a few chances to get to my coffee shops. I had a few chances to get to my bubble tea spots. I like going somewhere that brings forth some positive energy. And I know that sounds cliche, but it does help. Number two was something that I realized about myself when it comes to NaNoWriMo is I edit as I go. I've always edited as I go, and I'm okay with that. I think for me, it helps make a good first draft, or at least an okay first draft. I'm not somebody who can just write a whole skeleton of a story and leave out the meat and the goodies that go into the story. I can't just do that. I have to write something that when I go back through it the first time, I'm kind of proud of it. And I know first drafts are not good. They're usually pretty crappy. And though my first drafts are usually pretty crappy, I'm at least proud of a bunch of moments in there. I'm glad that I put important points in the story and I didn't just zoom past them or zoom past names, zoom past details, move past, the names of places people go or major points. I can't do that. And I know that a lot of people for NaNoWriMo, when they focus solely on writing a book or solely on 50K, zoom past those major points. And I can't do that, and I'm okay with that. That's just how I write. And number three was something positive I learned is that the writing and AuthorTube community is awesome. I am so glad that I've gotten involved in this geeky, wonderful, nerdy writing community that really does support you. Growing up, I was one of the only people I knew who would just rather sit around and write all day instead of go play and go do this and go do that. I was that person who just sat around and wrote. And I felt pretty weird. I know I'm weird, but I felt pretty left out because that's what I wanted to do. I realized being involved in the AuthorTube and Nano communities on social media and on YouTube and things like that this month that I am not by myself. There are thousands of other people out there doing just what I'm doing. I was involved in writing sprints. I hosted my first writing sprint. And just doing that, it really makes you feel supported. It makes you feel like you're not alone. It's weird because, yes, we are online. We're not in person. There might be one person on the screen talking to all of us, but we can communicate and can talk about our story. And that's good because we need that support system. And I learned that this community I've just gotten myself involved in really is a great support system. There were three things that I also discovered this month that kind of were either negative in my brain or just kind of about NaNoWriMo or just kind of left a weird taste in my mouth at the end of the month. And I'll share those with you as well. These are personal thoughts, especially after being super involved this month over years past. And I'll share a few of those with you. Number one, when it comes to kind of feeling about Nano this year, is rushing. I feel like a lot of those who are involved with NaNoWriMo are rushing themselves and rushing their story and rushing their book just to focus on those numbers. And for a lot of people, that helps them get to their goal, get to their story, and then really edit. Like I said, for me, I can't do that. That doesn't work for me. So that's why this personal thought is more personal. But I really do think that rushing happens a lot in NaNoWriMo. We focus less on the craft, more on the numbers, and I think it should be switched. But I do know that this is a goal that people like to focus on, and I understand that. For me, I couldn't rush. I rushed actually my last novel, and it did turn out well in the end because I got swooped up. But I don't like rushing. I don't like rushing my stories. It makes me anxious, and just seeing the comments that people were making on social media forums and online and in YouTube comments and things like that really was hard because they were hard on themselves just because they were rushing and trying so hard to meet this goal. So that was something that I found to be a little negative. Number two was I also saw a lot of, like I mentioned, just negative voices, negative comments, and people putting themselves down because they weren't meeting the goal they wanted to. That made me really sad because writing is supposed to be something that you're passionate about, you enjoy, it's fun. Nano for me was always just a personal goal. I was going to write a little bit more this month, maybe try to hit 100 pages, maybe try to hit 20 pages, maybe try to hit a certain point in my story. For a lot of people, if they missed a couple days of writing and they missed a couple thousand words or something, they were sounding very, very dangerously low on some of these social media accounts. And I was getting really worried because we are doing this for fun. This is not supposed to be something that literally is life or death. And it was hard for me to see some of these comments and think that there's someone out there who's really being this hard on themselves for something that they love to do and enjoy. So I was getting a little worried that people were looking at their craft and starting to see it as something that they despise and something that's hurting them in the end. And that's not how writing should be. And number 3, like I mentioned, was the number focus, the focus on the numbers, when I personally think it should be focusing on the craft. I do know that NaNoWriMo started years and years ago focusing on writing a whole book in a month. And I know the person who did that, that was their goal, which that's really cool that this person's goal really grew to become this huge event for the creatives of the world in the month of November. However, I do think that sometimes, like I said, people push themselves to a point of exhaustion and depression and just the hatred for what brings joy to them. And that's not really fair. And I think that focusing on those numbers really can be a huge part of that, instead of focusing on creating really good character voices or creating a really nice plot and some subplots and twists, and even going back and making sure that your writing sounds good, instead of focusing on, okay, I got to, word 1,600 this today, and focusing on, oh crap, I need to write this many words tomorrow to catch up. That just, me thinking about that makes me crazy. So I do think that that was a negative that I noticed when it came to being involved in the community. But again, that's just me. It was a little wrap up of this month's NaNoWriMo. I hope it didn't end on a sour note, but I will come back around and say that this community is amazing. When you get yourself in the middle of it, yes, there's some voices that are a little negative, but most of those voices are so supportive, so positive, and so empowering. There are so many people out there who kicked butt and wrote over 50,000 words this month. And that's amazing. I couldn't do it. And those who did it, that's great. I'm really proud of myself in that I wrote a lot this month, on top of, having to sign this great contract, and on top of holiday stuff and work and things like that. I still was able to focus on starting a new book. But it was a fun month. NaNoWriMo 2019 was definitely different than years before because I was much more involved in the community. And I'm glad I was. I learned quite a bit. So I hope that your Nano went wonderfully, and stay creative. And today was a Starbucks day. And drink your coffee, folks.